Welcome to the Gyrl Podcast, the show dedicated to bringing you inspiring guests who share their empowering stories, practical tips, and valuable information. Gyrl is more than just a podcast. We are a supportive community where women can come together to learn, share, connect, and uncover our ultimate glow ups. I am Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and thank you all for joining. How's everyone doing? How's your month going so far? It is January. We are full steam ahead into the new year. So I hope that the year has started off with a with a bang. Or I hope it's been going really good. I know it can be hard to it could be both very motivating and also hard to move transition into the new year because a lot of us really want to hold on to Christmas. And I'm definitely one of those people. I love the holiday season. I love having my trees up. I love the lights. I love all those things. And it is really tough to transition into the next phase, but it's also, very invigorating because there's something new coming, something awesome coming. So I think it kind of balances itself out. It usually takes me about the second week to really get into the groove. The first week, I'm still slightly fighting it because I'm yeah, it's a new year, but I miss my Christmas tree. I miss my lights because I am one of those people. I do take my tree and all the decor down before the new year comes in. I was just raised that way. I've always done it that way. But I'm also a person who puts up my decorations in November. So right after Halloween, October 31st, dawn, November 1st, she is decorating her house with the holiday attire. Okay. Um, all right. Well, it has been a while since we chatted. So I thought I would come and do a solo show today to check in to see how everyone is doing. Like I said, I hope your 2023 ended well, and I hope that you are really excited about the possibilities that 2024 holds. I know we all go into each new year, right, with the hope that the hope of new things to come. But I also too want to make sure that we are taking time to, reflect on this past year, making sure that we, celebrate the wins that we had, to also take a look at, the lessons that, we've learned and really look at opportunities that may be before us. I think a lot of times December is so fast and things are happening. We're going from November, from Thanksgiving, for those of us in the US, right? We're going from Thanksgiving and then we're going to then there's Christmas and then there's New Year. And it's all right there, together. And so it can be overwhelming, I think. And I think when you put on top of that, trying to think about goals for the next year, trying to think about reflect on the year. So what I really started to do is I don't go into the next year feeling like I have to have anything set in stone. I give myself January to definitely be able to figure out where do I want to focus, what's going to be important for me this year, what goals do I have. I will say the one thing that I have set aside is a word of the year. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I started maybe over the last 2 years doing a word of the year. And in 2023, my word of the year was simplified. So I wanted to, just like it says, I wanted to make things more simple in my life. I wanted to, make sure that, I was being more efficient in my work and in my business, and that I was just able really to enjoy the simple things in life. Now, as we all know, as I like to say, life is lifing, and it was definitely lifing in 2023. And oftentimes the things that we set forth for ourselves sometimes they are met with challenges, right? Opportunities, we can call them. But most times, there's always going to be a different course than the one that we were charting for ourselves. So let's talk about like a quick recap of 2023 for me. So I would say it was definitely filled with some challenges, some learnings, twists. Like I said, life was lifing in 2023. So we look at the start of 2023. At the beginning of the year, we had a loss in our family, lost my grandmother, and actually lost my grandmother the week of my birthday. So that was definitely really sad, but we got to celebrate her life on my actual birthday. So definitely something I will always hold near and dear to my heart, and I will always remember. That was at the beginning. That was in February of last year. Shortly after that, in March, I experienced and got my first colonoscopy. I actually got a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, I think they are. So it's like they're going in the front and the back. And it's a very short procedure, right? It's like basically like an hour, but the best sleep I think I'd had in like months. So it was pretty awesome, I should say. Um, Also, as I was, the day that I had that colonoscopy, I was, my husband and I were riding back from the doctor from the hospital. And so we were, so I live in Atlanta. So we were coming from like downtown Atlanta. And obviously, like we live in the suburbs, so headed back home. And as anybody knows, anybody who lives in Georgia knows that there are the interstates are crazy busy all the time here. And also anybody who just lives in a place where there are interstates knows that like interstates are crazy busy and lots of people are there. And so we were driving and we were like in an HOV lane. So we were in the far left lane. I think there are like 5 lanes on 75, like heading south or whatever. And the pressure in the car, like the lights flashed, like my husband was like, lights flash, like we didn't know what was happening with the car. So thankfully, thanks to his quick thinking, he started to like veer us over to go into the right emergency lane. Just as we got there, the car cut off, died like completely, no lights, no nothing. And all I could think of was like, thank you, Lord. And thank you for my husband being here with me, because I'm pretty sure I would have panicked and I would have been ping pong down the highway. And I don't know if I would be alive because there were so many people. People were going so fast. Like, and no one would have been able to stop because like we weren't going to be able to put on like any emergency lights or anything. So people were just probably going to hit us and push us. So, whew. So I would say that I did feel a calm because he was calm. So he made me feel calm. So that was pretty nice, but it was a pretty long morning. We were standing on the highway trying to get an Uber to pick us up so that we could go and try to get like a battery or something to like try to charge the car because we didn't really know what it was. It turns out, long story short, it was the alternator. And but we did find an Uber. We found a really nice guy who was like willing to who came up on the interstate, picked us up, took us all the way around to the auto parts store. We were able to get a battery, we got another Uber back up, put it in, thankfully, and we were able to make it home. And then that is where my husband was like, it's got to be the alternator. Like he already knew. So then we were able to get the car fixed. So hooray, that was March. Pretty eventful, right? Okay. So also another great thing in March is I finally got golf clubs. I love golf. So I picked up a new hobby. I enjoy talking golf with my parents. My dad has played pretty much for like most of as long as I can remember as a child, like he's played golf. And when I was younger, I didn't really have like much of an interest in it. I think just because like I was so busy, but the time during the pandemic really gave me like I always sort of watched golf, but like I never had like time on the weekends to like really pay attention to it. But now, since the pandemic, obviously, like I was home, so I watched a lot of golf. I learned a lot about golf, and now I've got my own clubs. That day I came home from um uh the colonoscopy kerfuffle. I don't know, I'm making up words maybe. I think at first might say that. But that day when I came home, later in the day, I got a package and it was a set of golf clubs for my dad. So that was a happy belated birthday present to me. I had also purchased like a putter and like you know, how you can get the mat. So I had that already and had been practicing there. But I spent a lot of time during the summer, like going to like the range and just hitting and then hitting in my backyard. This year, I'm going to take some lessons and then I'm going to get out there and start to play more. So I'm really excited about that. Definitely looking forward to that. All right. So then there was the summer, and I found myself fully outside because I work at home. So not ever really, really fully outside, except for like, you know, some times like maybe a movie or so, the doctor, you know, like traveling for work. But I found myself fully outside as I witnessed the best concert ever, the Renaissance tour, front and center. So it was really an amazing experience. My sister and I went and we had such a great time. Anytime I've seen Beyonce so many times in person, I can't even count anymore. But it was wonderful. It was so great. And then of course the movie came out in December. So, you know, I was there, took my husband to that. And, you know, he said, wait, so isn't this what you saw in the summer? And I was like, be quiet. Like, we're not doing that. So so we went and it was really, really awesome. Like, I mean, anybody who knows me knows like how much I love her and I think how talented she is and just her work ethic and just the vision that she has and what she puts out, the product that she puts out is just amazing. So did that. Okay. As for work and business, they were still doing their thing, right? Work is work, business is business. I want to definitely say that, you know, thank you to this community of listeners and watchers. I saw tremendous growth with the podcast this year, and it's just been awesome. Also, you know, I saw parts of the business that, you know, I'm like, I need to pivot because, you know, you can always have what you think is a great idea, but not everything sticks, and that's okay. And anyone who knows me knows that, like, I'm always okay with like trying something to see if it's going to work, but if it's not going to work, I'm okay to like pivot and try something different. I think this year is really going to be a pivotal year for Glow Up Girl. You know, I'm entering into the fourth year of this business in March. It was started right on the cusp of the pandemic in 2020. The podcast was never a part of the business plan. So definitely has always been and stands out as a very pleasant surprise and something that I'm really glad I've been able to do and to do for 4 years. So we are wishing, hoping, and dreaming for lots of success here. I am wishing, hoping, and dreaming for lots of success for those of you who are in business, who may be thinking about starting a business as well. All right. And then lastly, I want to talk to us about our health. So, especially my women out there. So for me personally, over the last years, I've dealt with iron deficiency anemia. I know that's very common with a lot of women. So, and also men, if you're listening on behalf of the women in your life. So, you know, make sure that you are just telling your women to make sure they're getting, you know, their yearly physicals and exams and just checking things out. Like I said, I was dealing with anemia. I was getting injections in 2022, and they were like probably biweekly. And, you know, for anyone who knows, like being anemic is really like your iron is low, which is really fueled by your blood. And obviously being women, we have menstrual cycles monthly, which can contribute to that. And so that's a big reason for, why I was dealing with it. And so I was doing injections, and then I went in 2023, I went into doing supplements. And so really by the summer of 2023, like I really noticed like I still was feeling tired. Like I kind of thought like I was just going to be tired like all the time. And then also felt like I just felt like I was going to be tired, and I felt like I wasn't going to find anything that was really going to help me to feel better. So I think I just gotten in this place where I was just like, yep, I'm just tired. And I'm just used to it. I'm going to be tired. So little backstory, about 7 years ago, I dealt with something a little bit similar, fibroids, which is also a pretty common thing with women, often a common thing with Black women. So, and I had a surgery about 7 years ago now to remove them, and a pretty major surgery. So I was sort of starting to think about that as I was like, oh, like each month, like cycles are getting worse. I'm feeling more tired. And then I had a physical with my primary care doctor in September, and my blood work came back, and I was severe. It was even more. I was even more anemic than like the normal, and so it was like severe. And so she, suggested that I get an ultrasound. I got an ultrasound, and surprise, surprise, the fibroids were back again. And so then it was just really at a point to where I needed to figure out like what was a good treatment plan for me. I think it was also good for me to know like that they were back, because I think like I was just thinking like I was going to be tired all the time. I also was thinking, as anyone who has dealt with fibroids will know, that like they show up in your uterus, and they can stretch your uterus. They can enlarge it so that it appears that you have a pregnant person's uterus, which is what I had. And so it was really good to like also find out, because like I've been working out, I've been trying to eat better. And then I was thinking, why am I not losing weight? Like, why is my stomach still like poking out or whatever? And that was like, oh, here's why. So fast forward, talk to the primary care doctor. I go to my OB/GYN. We start to talk about potential things that, potential things that we can do to like remedies, things to help me. And so I didn't really want to have a surgery, didn't want to have another major surgery again, because it's just really hard to recover from when you have major surgeries. And I wanted to try to figure out like a different way. So she recommended a specialist that does UFE, which is called uterine fibroid embolization. And so I met with that specialist. I got my first MRI, never had an MRI. So I was in that machine, and it was very loud, and it was something. It was something. That machine was like really loud. But I did that, and then did some other steps along the way to, some other tests that they needed to do to rule out some things. But in December, I did have a procedure. I did have that procedure done. And now I am 1 month post the procedure. I am really now just, sort of, closing that recovery chapter, and trying to, looking forward to how this will help me moving forward. I'll tell you. So if you're somebody who has fibroids, and um, you don't qualify, or you have too many to do like laparoscopic removal, and maybe the what's on the table is a myomectomy or like a hysterectomy, I would say definitely talk to someone, research uterine fibroid embolization. It is less painful. It is painful. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you don't feel pain afterwards, but the recovery is a lot faster. Also, there's less chance of them coming back because the fibroids are actually the blood supply is cut off to them, so they basically die and they shrink. So, like I said, I'm 1 month post now, so obviously I'll know more as time progresses as to like how it's all worked out for me. But I wanted to share my story because I feel like as women, we are often taught, especially when it comes to like our reproductive parts, and things that are dealing with reproductive matters that, we have to be ashamed or we shouldn't talk about them. But I'm saying this because there may be someone listening or someone watching this episode that may be dealing with the same thing and maybe trying to figure out what to do. So, and then there also may be someone who may be experiencing symptoms and may not even know that you may have an issue. So, because I hear a lot of times where people say, "Oh, I think I'm anemic too." Or people are like, "Oh yeah, I should get that checked out. I should do something about that." And it really is like, being anemic can lead to like worse things. So it can have long-term effects. So listen to your body. Like if you're not getting yearly physicals, if you're not checking in with your doctor, like, you know, at least once a year, like do it because you don't want to like get to a place to where you don't have any options. And like I'm a firm believer in like, if something doesn't feel right, something seems off, I'm definitely somebody who's going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get things checked out always. So I just wanted to say that to you all. Just wanted to share because it was on my heart to like, as I was going through it, that, when I got on the other side of it, I wanted to make sure that I shared um, my experience with my listeners because someone else might be able to benefit from this story. All right. So that was the end of the year for me, right? So now, like I said, I'm really looking forward to what 2024 holds for me. As I mentioned earlier about having a word of the year. Well, my word of the year is freedom. As I have mentioned several times, life is lifing. Life comes at you fast. Life is short. And being able to be free and have flexibility in like all aspects of my life is what I hope to accomplish this year. So, whatever it is that you are wishing and hoping for, I am sending you so much love, positive vibes, lots of prayer that you will meet those goals, you will exceed those goals in 2024. Okay, with that being said, I think we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap there today. I want to thank everybody again for all the support over the last few years. I am extremely humbled by the reviews, the emails, the listeners, the just all of it. Like I said, as a person who never thought that I would ever do a podcast, it has been one of the most fulfilling things that I've done in this life. And so I want to thank all of you for all of the support because I can't do this without you and also the amazing guests that join me on the show. So with that being said, as for those amazing guests, we will pick back up next week. I've got some pretty awesome people coming and lined up this year, so you have to stay tuned for that. If you are just finding us, welcome to the community. And if you've missed any of the previous episodes, you can listen to them where you are currently listening, or you can head over to our YouTube channel to watch the episodes. You can also head over to Glow Up Gyrl gyrl.com to learn more about us. And as I always say, sharing is caring. So make sure if there's someone in your life that you think will benefit from the stories that are shared here, make sure you share an episode or the podcast with them as well. And if you're listening on a platform where you can leave us a review or rate us, do so. I'd also love to hear from you. You can shoot me an email at hello@glowupgirl.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. We're at glowupgirl. All right. So again, friends, I'm sending you all the positive vibes to support you on your journeys this year. If you have big dreams, big goals, like dream them. Keep dreaming, keep reaching. Like, don't minimize your dream because nothing is too small. Keep pushing forward. And always remember, give yourself grace, slow down and celebrate small wins. And remember, you can always start again. All right. Thank you all so much for spending time with me today. I really, really appreciate all your support, and I'm so excited to see where this year will take us. Like I said, I'll be back next week with a guest. So until then, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.